Hello there! I am sure you have watched TV. Well, at least once or twice. But have you ever been to the theatre? Do you like going to the theatre? Do you like watching musicals? Have you ever been on the stage? Have you ever sung in front of a lot of people? Have you ever acted in front of a lot of people? There have been theatres in London for more than 400 years. And today there are more than 230 theatres in London. So, I thought it might be nice if I took you back 400 years to one of the first theatres in London. So, we need to be posh to go to the theatre in London. So, here's my bag. Are you ready? Let's go! If you are new to my channel, welcome to Smile English Stories, where you can listen to English in lots of different contexts. If I speak too slowly or too quickly, you can change the speed in YouTube. The biggest theatre district, the main theatre area of London today, is called the West End. And in the West End, today, musicals are very popular. They're perhaps more popular than plays. When I was a student in London, I liked going to the theatre, and sometimes we got cheap, not expensive, student tickets. I went to see Les Misérables, which is based on the French book by Victor Hugo. Les Misérables has been showing in London for a long time. It's the second longest running musical in London, or show. And it has been in London since 1985. But it's not the longest running show in London. The longest running show is actually a play called The Mousetrap by Agatha Christie. And I think my mum saw the play when she was a student in London a long time ago. Sorry, Mum. I think the most famous London musicals are probably the musicals written by a guy called Andrew Lloyd Webber. You might have heard of Cats. I saw Cats in London, but now Cats is not in London, it's travelling, or it was travelling before COVID, around the world. So I did see it with my daughter in Paris. In London I bought the programme, and in Paris I bought the mug.
As the moon lost her memory, she is smiling alone.
A musical I would love to see is The Phantom of the Opera. I only have the DVD of the film, but I think it's beautiful, dramatic music. But let's take a step back to the 1600s, Elizabethan times. Queen Elizabeth I loved the theatre and the arts, and she often had actors at her palace in London. So she must have been really happy when the first London theatre opened back in 1576. It was called The Theatre. Very inventive. And the next year, another London theatre opened in 1577, called simply The Curtain. Now you might remember a little video I made last year about a man called Shakespeare. In 1599, when Shakespeare was just 35 years old, he opened a theatre in London called the Globe Theatre. If you looked down on the Globe Theatre, you would see it was round, almost like a circle. It was made of wood and it had 20 sides. And if you looked at the side of the theatre, you would see it was 9 meters tall. So it was quite a tall building. And you would see it was an open theatre. It had a thatched roof, but not over all the theatre, only around the outside of the theatre. So now if we open the theatre, you can see the inside of the theatre. There was a big stage in the middle of the theatre. The stage is where the actors would stand. And around the stage was the open place, the open area where the spectators would stand. It was called the yard. My French friends say that it always rains in England. That's not true, but it does sometimes rain. So if you paid a little more money, you could sit in the galleries around the yard, and the galleries were under the roof, so you didn't get wet if it rained. And there were 1, 2, 3 levels of galleries. You could put 3,000 spectators in the Globe Theatre.
Oh, really?
The Globe Theatre was not closed, it was an open air theatre. And in the galleries you did not stand, you could sit on a wooden bench. But in 1613 there was a disaster at the Globe Theatre. During the performance of Henry VIII, there was always a special effect. There was a big cannon that fired. But one day the cannon fired and little sparks of fire hit the thatched roof of the theatre, and the theatre set on fire, and the theatre started to burn, not just a little, 1 hour later, all the theatre had burned down to the ground. The theatre had vanished. The theatre had disappeared. But Shakespeare and his actor friends were rich, so they built another theatre, which opened in 1614. But the theatre closed 30 years later. But in 1997, a new Globe Theatre opened in London. And today you can go and see plays in the theatre or visit the theatre. The theatre is in the centre of London, near the River Thames and opposite St Paul's Cathedral. If you are visiting St Paul's Cathedral, you can walk across the river over the famous Millennium Bridge to get to the theatre. If you want to go to the theatre today, you need to buy tickets in a box office, either online, on the internet, or at the theatre. In Shakespeare's time, there was a box too. People came round the theatre with a box, and you put your money in the box to pay for the ticket. In the first Globe Theatre, the cheapest tickets were the tickets for the yard where you stood up, and they cost 1 old English penny, which was like 1 loaf of bread. The most expensive tickets for the posh people were in a special place in the galleries, and they cost 6 pence, which is like 6 loaves of bread. If you go to the Globe Theatre in London today, the cheapest tickets are about 5 English pounds. Today, that's about 3 loaves of bread. But the most expensive tickets are about 50 pounds. That's 35 loaves of bread. Things are different today. Things have changed. So, before the curtain goes down, I just wanted to say, if you want to learn more about Shakespeare, you could watch my Shakespeare video from last year with beautiful photographs of his birthplace, the place he was born, in Stratford in England. Or you could watch my version of one of his plays. And if you want to go to the theatre in London, I heard you can book tickets for May or June. So let's hope that COVID will let us go back to the theatre, because it has been a very difficult time for people working in the theatre this year and last. Take care and see you next time. Bye. Oh, I forgot. I put some links to my favourite musical music under the video. I can't put it in the video because it's copyright.